What's up, my dudes? So, underwater base building in No Man's Sky next. Now, I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive into this, no pun intended, because I feel like it is one of those things that is so cool, and I never really thought it would be that cool of a thing, but now that I actually sat down and thought about it and really started to understand what that could mean for the game and the different possibilities of it, that's when it becomes like a next level of very, very interesting type of video idea and something to go in here and talk about, because like the video that I made before on the, basically No Man's Sky equals Subnautica. I don't know if any of you guys saw that video. I don't know if all of you guys know the game Subnautica, but basically it's kind of like No Man's Sky, but all about the water and under the water, and everything's done really well, and it's got all these really cool underwater biomes and stuff like that, and you can build your base under the water and all that. Well, basically what I was explaining in that video was that No Man's Sky is basically that game. It just needs more to it. It needs better underwater environments, better underwater creatures, bigger underwater creatures for that matter, and deeper underwater environments, stuff like that. Better ways to traverse under the water, better, actually having underwater vehicles and stuff like that. That's what I always felt like if No Man's Sky got that, it would basically be Subnautica, but with land and unlimited amount of planets. That's always what I felt about that. So now that they've came out with this entire underwater base building thing, and if you guys haven't really seen that, it is in the newest No Man's Sky Next trailer. There's like a quick little flash of it there. If you don't have it like playing at 0.25 speed or something like that, you'll probably not even see it. But most of you guys that are No Man's Sky fanboys have probably seen that at this point. But I'll probably use it as a thumbnail for this video or whatever. But basically it just shows like 3 dudes swimming down into the water, and you can obviously tell that this base under the water is a player built base. It's quite apparent. I mean, it's not like really even a question. You know how in the current day No Man's Sky there are like structures under the water, right? You can go under there and I'm pretty sure you can find underwater ruins and different underwater stuff like that, but you can't actually build a base under the water. In fact, you can't even build a base wherever you want on land. Even going further than that, you can't even build a base just on whatever planet you want to. You have to build it on a very specific planet in a one specific area on that planet. It's pretty tedious and critical on how they did where you could actually build a base in the game currently. And it makes it to where it just gives it this feeling of it totally eliminates oh dude, this is really where I wanted to build my base, right? It's nothing like that at all. The way it feels right now is oh, I'm forced to build it over here. That really sucks. I didn't really want to have to do that, but whatever, I guess I do have to do that. But with some of the different things that they have been kind of hinting towards, they're kind of making it seem like possibly that you are going to be able to build your base anywhere on any planet that you want to, even underwater at this point. That's really what they have been hinting to in a lot of different things that they have been coming out with, on the case of the No Man's Sky Next, saying there's going to be unlimited building possibilities, stuff like that. And good God, hopefully they have this little bug fixed right here where the creatures get totally stuck on terrain. But yeah, the whole thought of being able to actually build a base underwater, that's making me think not only that the underwater environments are going to be a lot more interesting, and that you can potentially, have an underwater vehicle in that sense, because I do think there might have been an actual vehicle docking station on that underwater base in the game. I actually do think that might have been a possibility there. I personally am under the impression that No Man's Sky Next is going to have deeper oceans just in general, all the way around all the planets. I feel like they're just going to be more like what you expect a realistic ocean to be like, right? So in the current day No Man's Sky, this planet right here has got that really cool rainbow sort of grass ground effect to it. I've seen one other planet like this out there before, but this is definitely a fairly rare rare biomed planet here, no doubt about it. Look at that, man. Gotta love that coloration, dude. Like, I wish every planet in this game could have this level of, like, uniqueness to it, you know, this level of coolness to it, but it just seems like it doesn't. And I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with the game. It's like it's got, like, about 1 out of every 20 planets is a really cool planet, but every other planet is just about as lame as it possibly gets. You know, that seems about like how the game is currently, whereas, like, it should be every planet that you go to is something really cool and different and unique and feel like something that you've never seen before, right? And I'm not saying every planet has to have a ton of fauna or flora or be, you know, Rainbow Road grass or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. It can be the most barren planet ever and still be cool, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of all about the... You got to understand what I'm saying to realize this, you know? It's about the actual... like how unique the rock formations are, how unique the actual formations are on the planet, or just have a planet that seems like it literally has absolutely nothing on it. It's just a perfectly round planet and there's nothing on it whatsoever. That would be a really cool alienated feeling in the game. It's not that I'm saying that the planets need to be, you know, like more vibrant, more colorful, more like that. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm just saying they need to be more unique. They need to be more like feeling like you've never seen that before kind of thing. You know, it can be even like more on the simple side of it and give you that feeling. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, you can have a planet that, let's just say the entire planet is just one humongous cave, or it's like one humongous mountain that takes up half the size of the planet, or, you know, just having those weird, bizarre formations and stuff that really makes it feel like, oh, that's the planet that has the whatever on it, or that's the perfectly smooth planet, or that's the planet that's got all those crazy spikes on it, or, you know, that thing that you've never seen on any other planet, versus just having a lot of the planets feeling very, very similar to one another. But that's a whole different topic for a different video. We're talking about underwater base building, okay? So my thought in my head is like, you know, the current day No Man's Sky, it kind of feels like the base building would be a little bizarre in this. I mean, hardly ever do you have water that's much deeper than like this right here. I mean, it doesn't, the game has this really weird effect where it's like, the water will get somewhat deeper than, like, obviously just a base ocean level there, you know, standard water level. Like, you can obviously see that it's getting deeper, but it doesn't, like, go to the super deep, dark depths. You know, it's like it has this stopping point, it seems like. Let's see if I can get over there to it and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. It's like it gets this certain depth to the water, and then it's as if it won't go any deeper than that on any other planet. You get what I'm saying? Like this deepness right out here in front of me, that's probably about as deep as I've seen any planet in No Man's Sky ever before. And trust me, I've been to a lot of planets. I've seen a lot of oceans in this game, been to a lot of different water areas in this game, and that looks about as deep as I've ever seen anything in this game, right? It just doesn't seem to go much deeper than that. And so my mind is kind of thinking like it at least should go on certain planets. I'm not saying every planet, but certain planets should at least go as deep to where it's like past your vision. You know, it's like either it's kind of like you can see how I'm looking out here, right? And I can't really see like super far out there. Well, that's how it should be below me, right? It should at least get that deep to where you're actually going down in the depths of the water, right? Where it's actually giving you that effect where it's like you look down and you can't even see the bottom of the ocean. Some planets need to have that in this game, man. Desperately need to have that. And like it's going as far as the eye can see downward, you know, to the bottom of the ocean. And I feel like the current day No Man's Sky, like if you think about building a base on this right here, I mean, you could build your base, but it would almost feel like you were at the top of the water if you built it anywhere near high at all. that's kind of what it feels like it would be if you put underwater base building in the current day No Man's Sky. So that's why I'm kind of getting that impression that, you know, we're potentially going to be getting a lot deeper oceans. I mean, I think we'll get that at some point anyways, but the fact that they're putting the underwater base building in there, it's just really giving me that thought that not only are we going to be seeing better underwater environments because they don't want it to look super basic where you have your base built under the water, right? They don't want it to be like this super boring environment, but also it's kind of like they have to make it deep enough to where you can actually build a truly magnificent underwater base without popping out of the top of the water. And that's another interesting aspect to it, right? So you're probably going to be able to make like now it's going to get a lot more interesting, especially if they have it to where you can build your base anywhere you want to on any planet, because that's going to make it to where you can start having these like almost hybrid style bases where you've built some of your base like on a little island top like that, and then it like your base builds up into and up out of the water and kind of creates its own little island. You know, you've like literally made an island base. I'm not talking island base in the sense of you built your base on an actual island like that over there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like literally all you see is your base popping out of the water. That's all that's there, right? So it like starts under the water and then comes up out of the water. I think that'd be a really cool base design to actually make in the game. I honestly do. We got some predatorial creatures over here that I don't really know what they're going to be looking like. Got me a little bit scared and frantic, but okay, let's see. So I can see them like that under the water over there. Okay, just got to get over there a little more. But yeah, I just think in general, the underwater marine life needs to be improved, man. It's nowhere near to the level that it needs to. It seems like you hardly ever, I mean, why am I looking in this ocean and not seeing anything? You know, it's like it's so few, and there's Gable, some sort of creature of some sort, right? But it's like the amount of time you go in the water without seeing anything on about 99% of the planets out there is far too many. You know, it needs more marine life on these planets. I'm not saying every single one of them needs a million fish in the water, but I'm just saying it needs more of like how some of those early day No Man's Sky trailers looked, where it seemed like you'd jump down the water and there'd be these little fish swimming and then you'd see a shark in the distance, and it just seemed like it was more of a vibrant underwater experience versus nowadays it seems more like a like there's just, it's like you go here, you see one fish, and then you go way over here on the other side of the ocean and you see this other kind of fish, and then you go way over here, you don't see anything the whole way, traveling way over there, and then you see one more fish over there. That's not how underwater marine life should be in a game, man. It needs to be more vibrant, needs to be more under there, and that'll make it really cool doing the having underwater base building. And what would even be cool, and this is kind of taking something from Subnautica here, but what would be pretty cool is if you could like, you know, somehow get one of the underwater creatures as a pet and then put it like in some sort of a underwater container or fish tank and keep it like right beside your base. I think that'd be a really cool thing. And I even think that would be cool on land for some of the, you know, on land creatures. You could kind of keep them in somewhat of a cage of some sort, or, you know, some sort of pet system to the game. I don't know when on earth we'd be getting anything like that, but I'm just saying that would be so cool to have like some sort of unique underwater creature that is only on that one planet, and you're able to sort of capture that and keep that in there. And that's another thing with the creatures. I know I'm going on some crazy topics here, but they've got to get it more where it feels like, you know, it's some of the creatures you might not ever see them on that planet, even though they're on that planet. You get what I'm saying? They need to vary the amount that you see certain creatures and the amount that you don't see certain creatures on a planet. It feels like how it is currently. Like if you'll just jump down in the water and swim around for about 30 minutes, just in that little area, you'll see about every underwater creature that's on that planet, right? It does not feel like there's any exploration needed to find anything. It doesn't feel like, hey, if I spend an extra, you know, hour under the water swimming super deep in this ocean, maybe I'll find like a megalodon-sized creature that you wouldn't find if you just hop down in there for 20 minutes, right? It doesn't have that feeling at all. So that's one thing I feel like it does really, really need in this game. I'm trying to figure out how to get on this planet without being on this like sunset vibe here. We'll try to go back down in the water and continue to talk about underwater base building. You got to know Spencer Turley, but I get off on some crazy topics, especially with No Man's Sky, because it's like there's just so much to talk about with this game, and with the No Man's Sky next coming out, I mean, it's just going crazy out here, dude. So, but yeah, wow, that is some crazy sunset colors right there, but it'll be really interesting to see if they have some sort of underwater vehicle. I'm not really sure how they couldn't at this point. If they're going to have underwater bases, it just only makes sense to have underwater, underwater vehicles, better underwater creatures, bigger and smaller, and more amounts of that, and just everything to that. It seems like the underwater should be getting better regardless. The fact that they're putting underwater base building, and this is not like a big speculation video of like, I don't know if they're going to have underwater base building, like straight up 99.99999% sure that they're going to have base building underwater. I mean, that's literally it. That's what it looks like in the No Man's Sky Next trailer. Like, it's not just some random building, dude. I mean, it is underwater base building for sure. So yeah, I mean, hopefully they can get their oceans a little deeper, get them a little more interesting, make it a little bit more worth your time actually building a base underwater. But then it comes to the thought of like, well, are you going to be able to build multiple bases? And can you build like, a little bit of a base right here and then come over here and build a little bit more of your base up on top of the land? Or does it all have to be in one confined area, right? So that's another thought there. Or can you build like a super big base over here and then go over here to this other planet, keep this base that you built right here and build another? Let's see if I can see a planet out here. Come on now. Where's the planet? Of course, I can't see any now. Whatever. There's a planet out there, right? Like, can you go build a base there, come here to this planet, build a base here, go over there, build a bear workshop, build a base workshop, right? Like, how many bases are you going to be able to build? Because then it becomes, if you can only build one, then it's like, well, crap, do I really want my one and only base underwater? I feel like most people wouldn't go for that route. Most people would just put it on land. So it's giving me that thought that you're going to be able to build more than one base. So hopefully that's in there. Not sure if it's going to be like that, but hopefully. But I mean, that's what it's kind of seeming like to me, right? Them allowing you to build it under the water seems like they're going to have more of an expansive. I'm not saying you're just going to be able to build nonstop on a planet, like build structures over the entire planet. There's got to be some kind of limit to it, I guess. But I feel like maybe it might reset itself on every planet. You get what I'm saying? So there may be like a certain building cap to it on each individual planet. So you might be able to build a certain amount of structures on this planet, but then go over here to this other planet and build that same amount of structure on that planet, right? Obviously, you got to have more resources, more everything to do that, but that would be really cool if they could somehow be able to micromanage that, where you could like basically build a huge base on as many planets as you wanted to, right? That would be the ticket right there, because obviously you're probably not just going to be able to build like a super massive over the entire planet sized base on it or whatever. Whoa, that dude ski is coming in hot. He is like, whoa, he is really swimming fast, man. Okie dokie. Wow, that is actually really creepy how fast he was swimming right there. Like, if I was looking the other direction and wasn't thinking about it and I was just talking, he could have swam right up on my asshole without me even realizing it, dude. Like, whoa, that's creepy. Yes, dude. And they need to, I would say they should even be able to maybe go a little faster than that under the water. That would be really cool. Have something that's actually somewhat difficult to jump up away from, or have something that jumps up out of the water and grabs you when you do your little hack where you boost up out of the water and that underwater creature can't get to you, right? They need to make it to where some of them jump up out of the water at you, so you can't just totally evade every single underwater creature like this. That's a bit of a bug that they do have in the game, right? You can have 10,000 sharks on you, and as long as you sit here and just like kind of constantly boost up out of the water like this, they can never really hurt you, because you're able to boost up out, come back down, boost up out. So but it's like, why can I not look under the water and see a shark fish type creature just like this, but about 50 times the size of that, right? Why does every underwater creature look like it's about the size of a damn real life dolphin? Like, why does that seem like that is the maximum underwater size of a creature? I just don't get it. Now, see, this ocean, I'm not going to lie, it looks a little bit deeper than what I was telling you, like, oh, that's about the maximum you ever see deepness in an ocean in No Man's Sky. This definitely looks a little bit deeper than that. For sure. This may be the deepest ocean I've ever seen before, man. Whoa. This is actually fairly deep right here. I mean, you could build a pretty decent base in that size of depth of an ocean. This is obviously somewhat of a rare style planet with some of the on-land stuff that's going on there. But yeah, this is actually fairly deep here. But what I'm saying is, like, you look down, okay, and you don't see any of that. You know, you don't, the depth I'm talking about is like Subnautica level. You know, you look down and you can't even see the bottom right underneath you. You know, that's the feeling of what an ocean should actually give you in a game. It shouldn't feel like this super big swimming pool, you know, where you can look down and see the bottom of it. That eliminates a lot of that fear and excitement and mysterious and mystique to making it feel like an actual ocean. Like, holy God, you know, what is going to come up out of those depths and grab me out of nowhere, right? This game desperately needs that. And turn off that shit where I can see where an enemy creature is coming up to me with a little red paw. Turn that off. I don't care if that's in easy mode, normal mode. Turn it off in all the modes, man. That needs to be a surprise. Don't tell me when some sort of enemy hostile creature is coming towards me, right? Yeah, this is definitely the deepest ocean I've ever seen in this game, without a doubt. Wow. Yeah, look at that. Look how deep that is, dude. Wow, this totally debunks my entire thing that I was saying at the beginning. Like, hey, guys, the water can only be that deep. I'm telling you, in 99% of planets out there, the water is like half as deep as this. I mean, I'm telling you, this is downright amazing how deep this is right here. This is not that frequent that you see an ocean this deep. I'm just telling you, man. It is not like a frequent thing to see that in this game. It's making me look like such an idiot now. Like, oh yeah, Spence, good one. You said they couldn't even be that deep, and then here you go. That just figures. That's definitely my luck right there. But yeah, you could definitely build a hell of a base in that area. But I'm telling you, it's not. You just don't see deepness in oceans like this every day in No Man's Sky. That's not how this game is, I promise you, bro. But yeah, and then just putting more stuff under the water in general. Stuff to find, rare resources that you only find under the water. Rare plants and stuff, structures that you only find under the water. You know, really cool stuff like that would be nice. And, you know, maybe being able to improve your, if they don't have a vehicle, maybe make it to where you can actually improve, whoa, I'm seeing that dude's shadow. Where is he at? Is he way up? Way up? Oh, dude, that's scaring me. I think he's, I don't know where he is. Oh, crap. Where is his shadow? Where is his shadow? Ooh, that's creepy. You guys see his shadow right there, but I can't figure out where he actually is. Oh, there he is. What the? Dude, they do have a bit of a shadow problem, underwater lighting problem that needs to be fixed in the game. Like, this almost doesn't even feel like I'm actually under the water. And why can I see him like a shining silhouette way off in the distance? I don't know. They definitely got somewhat of an issue with that, where it feels like, you know, it's almost like you get the impression that you're not even under the water anymore. Like, it kind of loses the feeling that you're under the water because of the way the like new lighting effect that they put in there. So hopefully they can get that fixed. But yeah, I mean, god dang, let me know in the comments, guys. Have you ever seen an ocean this deep before? This is something I've never even seen before in this game. Like, when it comes to No Man's Sky, a lot of times when you talk about certain things, like, oh, you're probably never going to see that, oh, whatever, like, the game doesn't really have this. It's basically like I'm telling you that 99% of the planets don't have that, right? I mean, there's always can be that one very bizarre whatever in the game that is like 1 in a million planets that have that certain thing, right? You can't always say for sure because there's quintillion number of planets in No Man's Sky, so it's kind of one of those things where it's like you just never really know. But yeah, hell, that would be a perfect spot to build a base like this right here. Absolutely perfect. You could build it super high and not come up out of the water. But yeah, they need more oceans like this depth in the game. And actually being interesting when you get to the bottom. I'm like, where's all the fish at? There's no fish. Where are they at? And I'm telling you, it's not just this planet. It's about every damn one of them. Feels like you hardly ever see any creatures under the water. But even though I'm saying this is like super deep, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before in No Man's Sky, I still think even it should be a little bit deeper than that right there. I mean, you know, I'm feeling like if I get all the way up here, I'm pretty sure I can still see the bottom of that right there. Which, like I'm saying, it should at least be to the depth where you can't even see the bottom anymore on certain planets in certain areas. Not every planet, it's not what I'm saying, but like right here, right? If I jump down the water, I can see the bottom. Like right away, I can see it. So it's like, see how it's almost deep enough to where you start losing sight of the bottom, but it's not quite, right? That's what I want to see, where you can't even really get your eyes on the bottom of the ocean. That's where it's really going to start getting interesting for this game. That's when you're really going to start feeling like you're in a real-life ocean and a giant squid can come up and grab you, or a whatever giant megalodon creature can come up and grab you when they actually start adding that. And it could be any sort of alien creature that comes up out of the water and grabs you. Super humongous. That'd be so cool. But yeah, man, either way, that's my little talk about the underwater base building. I don't even know how much I actually talked about that. Kind of went on some bunch of crazy different topics, but either way, man, let me go ahead and cut this off right here so I don't make a 5-hour long video. So appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.